last speaker is Lisa Turoczi from the EarthTones Native Plant Nursery in Woodbury. Lisa and her husband Kyle when did you start the nursery? How many years ago? Sorry?
2004 officially.
Okay, 2004. They started it because they are both landscapers, designers. Lisa is a landscape architect, designer, whatever. Kyle is a wetlands ecologist, a soil scientist, and he has a master's in conservation and resource management, correct? And so they were having trouble finding a source for native plants. They wanted to use native plants. It's very hard to find them. So they started this nursery, and they've both been in the business for over 20 years. And EarthTones is a wonderful place to visit. It's, how many acres do you have? It's big. I'm sorry, I keep asking, but it's a wonderful place to visit. It's hard to find. It is at 212 Grassy Hill Road in Woodbury. It's about 45 minutes away. Please make the effort to get there sometime. They are a full-service operation. They do consulting, they do rain garden construction, they do design, and they have the native plant nursery. So it's really worth going. And you have a wonderful website. It's earthtonesnatives.com. So please welcome Lisa, and please make an effort to get up there to see that wonderful nursery. Thanks.
Thank you. I usually have a bunch of pretty pictures, but today I'm just going to talk because we only have a little bit of time. And I could talk about this for days, just days. We should eat, we should talk, we should eat. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. I guess what started it was I was one of those kids. I grew up in Long Island, tiny little backyard. I'd lay down on my belly in the grass, and I'd open up the grass, and I'd get really close. And if you focus, all of a sudden there's this activity. That's the most beautiful thing. It just would fascinate me. So that was one thing in my memory that pushed us towards this nursery. Another one was my dad, who I love him dearly, but he's an engineer, plumb level and square, and he wanted to put a perimeter of chemical around the house every year, so the bugs wouldn't eat the house. And he was really excited because he found something that was taken off the shelves already. It was illegal to sell it. And he was really excited about it. And instead of just a little bit, he put extra, because you gotta get the job done. And then I would be very upset because I would see all these dead critters and spiders and all my friends, and it upset me. And my mom, she's like, oh, that's terrible, we can't do that anymore. They had an organic garden, too, but we had to travel somewhere to go to the organic garden, which was comical, because we could have done it in our own backyard, but then my dad would put all the chemicals, so it was a little disjunctive. So then, what do I want to do, when I grow up? That was the big question. And I liked drawing and drafting, and I liked plants, and I liked insects, and I liked flowers, and I liked working outside. So my father said, there's such a thing as a landscape architect. I'm like, oh my God, that's cool. So I, did some research into it, and I said, that's what I want to do. So I went to school. They taught me all sorts of fabulous things. It's a 5-year program up in ESF, Environmental Science and Forestry, up in Syracuse. I graduated, I loved it, and, done, go forth, conquer. They gave me a list of like 20 plants that would just be the perfect plants to put in everybody's garden. And it turned out that most of the ones that are on this list are now ones that we are being hired to take out. Barberries, guanamas, oriental bittersweet. I mean, oriental bittersweet was a beautiful plant, and it covered things beautifully, and it had these really great berries, and it hid things, and it just goes on and on and on. And so to me, that was the beginning of me understanding a little bit more about just the the money base of things. And why are these plants? Why are people buying these plants? Why are people selling these plants? Why are they growing these plants? Well, it was because nothing bothered them. The deer didn't eat them. The bugs didn't bother them. There was nothing. There was nothing to bother them. And so they just kept growing and flourishing. And you think about it now, you're like, well, of course, because there's no natural control. These plants were from another ecosystem. Let's just say the Orient. And they were brought into this ecosystem. Let's just say the northeast of America here. And now there's no connection. These insects have not co-evolved, or the animals have not co-evolved with these plants that are now being brought in. So they don't recognize each other. So the insects don't recognize it as a food source or a nectar source, or the animals don't recognize it like, oh, I can eat this, this is good, there's chemical imbalance. They have not co-evolved. So now we have a disjunct yet again. Okay, flash forward. I am doing design work. I meet my husband. We're doing installations. And we had a hard time convincing people that native plants were really, really a good thing. Well, we found a few people, like wetland people. They needed to do something in their wetlands. They needed native plants. We had to go to New Jersey to get native plants to Connecticut. And that was one of our aha moments, where we said, this is stupid. These native plants are so important for the ecosystem, and we were just scratching on the surface of why they were so important. And we said, maybe we should start our own nursery. Okay, that's crazy. All right. So another aha moment. I go to the wholesale nurseries. I pick up my plants for some of these gardens and such that I'm dealing with, and I need these plants. And I love going to the wholesale nursery because it's acres and acres and acres of plants, and what do I love most is plants. And the colors, they're gorgeous, just gorgeous, and the heights and the textures, and they're beautiful. And then there was something that struck me, like just a boom, like this. There's no bugs, there's no bees, there's no butterflies. I don't hear anything. What's going on? And that was another aha moment. They spray religiously with everything to keep bugs at bay, fungicides, everything. And I'm thinking, wait, we got acres and acres of flowers and no bees and insects, and that made me crazy. I said, we have to do this nursery. We have to do a nursery with only native plants. We have to do a nursery that we can educate people. We don't want any chemicals in this situation. We can do this. So my husband and I were a little bit nutty, and we said, sure, let's do it. So we bought this property, which is 68 acres of woodlands. And we got it really cheap because it was mostly rocks and wetlands and woods. And so we put our house on it, and then we built up towards the nursery site. And we have our first structure for the nursery was a little hoop house. And we were able to offer 20 types of perennials, 20 types. And we were so excited about it. And it was great. And I was trying to talk to people about these plants and how important it was, and how these bees need you have things that are doing different things, and they're gorgeous, and they're aesthetically pleasing. I mean, I'm still doing design work, and I want to make a space where people look at the colors and they're brought in, and they have emotions about these colors and this design that I created. I want people to be emotional about it, but I also want to be doing something right for the bees and the health of our environment and the health of my kids and my kids' kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to do the right thing. So we had 20 plants to offer, and people were laughing at me. They're like, weeds? You think someone's gonna pay you for weeds? Okay, so here we are now, and we kept pushing and pushing, and Doug was telling me, yay, he did his thing, there's a scientific backing, so it just makes sense. So, I mean, and you, just thinking about it, who wants to smell the chemicals? I don't. I want to see the butterflies. And you know, if you don't have the plants that are a host plant to these certain things, you're not going to have your butterflies without your caterpillars. I had people coming to me saying, I have this awful thing eating my butterfly garden. I planted a butterfly garden. I spent $100 on a butterfly garden, and I got these things. They're disgusting, and they're eating the leaves. I squished them. I said, well, did you happen to take any pictures of these disgusting things? Oh yeah, it was this, and stripes and this, and I'm like, oh geez. So again, it's education, education, education. There's a disjunct. People don't put it together. And now slowly people are putting it together. And the organic movement is so much stronger, and it makes me so happy because people are understanding now, if you put poison on your plant, it's going to get into the ground. And you're poisoning where your food is coming from. You're also poisoning the critters that you rely on to feed you, basically. So what you need to do is get out there and start talking to people. And they might look at you like you're crazy. They really, I mean, but a little bit is going to get in there, and they're going to think about it. And they're going to think about it next time. Next time they're in the store, or next time they smell a chemical, or next time they get that thing off the shelf, they'll be like, well, maybe I should, you know, and maybe it'll happen. So our native plants have really taken off. I'm very excited about it. We look at the ecosystem and the ecology of a situation. So we look at the plant and figure out what the plant needs. Not how to change our soil for the plant. First we look at what you have, and then we choose our plant palette. So we are now up to 400 species of perennials, trees, shrubs, ferns. We do local seed source collecting. We grow probably 95% of our plant material from seed. So they're genetically diverse, and that's what's important because that means they're going to be stronger. And we have a lot of fluctuations in our weather, so they will be stronger. And what I try to talk to people about is look to nature, because nature's been around a lot longer than we have, and it's kind of been figured out already. So the web of life is so important. You pull on one strand, and it shakes the entire web. So you really have to start thinking about that. And you have to get other people to think about it too. And I'm just so excited about it. I'm really excited about it. We have so much happening now with the conservation districts. We're part of their plant sales. And I feel so honored right now to be up here to be talking about it, and it also brings me great joy. So you go get them. Tell them.